Hi everybody, it's Jill Blanchett with Green Thumb Stampers. I'm here for another version of Finally Friday. It's my weekly YouTube series that I try and give you tip, technique, something going on in the world of stamping to help make life easier for you when you get to your craft table. So today I have a technique for you, and it's called spotlighting. Now, not everybody enjoys being in the spotlight. Not everybody wants to have all eyes on them. But if you've got a card that you want to make that takes a big stamp or a very detailed stamp and you don't want to fuss with it all, spotlighting is what you want to do. So stay tuned. I'll be right back and I will show you what it's all about. Today we are going to go over a technique called spotlighting. Spotlighting is when you have, well, in this case, when you have image like this one that's larger, requires a lot of coloring, and you don't really want to do all that coloring, you can do the spotlighting. And I'm just going to show you this one way. There's numerous ways you can do it. You can pop it up, you can leave it flat, you can cut it out with a punch, you can do all kinds of things. So I will give you a couple showings if I can get this working correctly. So this is going to be my base image that I'm going to put on my card. Now you don't have to make two, and I'll show you in just a second, but I'm making a second one. This is a great stamp set to do this with. This is the Dragonfly Garden out of the January through June mini catalog, and it's a great one to do this technique with because there is so much on here to color. I have some Stampin' Right markers. You can also use the blends. I brought the Stampin' Right markers because I thought my blends might be too, the tips might be too big for these little tiny images, so I'm going to go with my Stampin' Right markers. Now I think I want to spotlight this area up here. I think this area down here is I'm gonna have so much little stuff to color that I might as well have colored the whole thing. So I'm gonna spotlight up here, okay? So I'm gonna start with some of my old olive, and I'm just gonna color in some stems. And since this is an extra one, I'm going to punch my circle out of it. I'm just coloring a whole bunch of this one area so that I can get a feel for, when I put the punch in there, how much of it I need to cut out to make sure that I got it all colored. So just going to do some of the leaves. I won't go down this far, so I'm just going to color this guy in just a smidge there. I might come over here, so I'll give that a little bit of color. Already got that. I brought in I'm not going to go up to that one, so I'm just going to color the nibs. I think this is, I'm going to call it echinacea, I think is what this is. So the stuff that I have outside is purple, so I'm coloring mine purple. In my flower garden outside, it's purple. It could be Black-Eyed Susans, but for today, it's purple echinacea. Alright, so I'm just going to color that in. And then I've got some Calypso Coral that's going to match my my cardstock that I picked out. So I'm going to color these little, I don't know what these are. I'm not a flower person. If my mom's watching, maybe she'll post. She's the flower person. Maybe she'll post what these are. She'll know. Alright, so let's see. I got to color a few more. I got Flirty Flamingo, so we're going to color these other ones. Probably can't tell the difference, but we're going to color some of these other ones in the Flirty Flamingo. Let's make sure I got them down far enough. I don't think I'll go over that far, so we're gonna, oh, you know what? I better color just a smidge of the bottom of these leaves, because I'll bet I'm gonna go up into, possibly into these leaves. Like so. Okay, so I got an area colored. Then I've got some punches. And then you're just going to come through. Oh, do I want to go up or down? I think I'm going to go up and over. Punch that out. And now I see I got a little bit more to color. So color in the rest of these leaves. I don't use my Stampin' Right markers all too often, and I can tell they don't want to, ink doesn't want to flow, but it's coming, taking its sweet old time. But I love our markers, the Stampin' Right markers, because they come in, you can get them in all the ink colors, and I think that that's really cool because it matches, as does everything else. The paper matches, the ink matches, it all matches, and who doesn't love some matchy-matchy? Alright, I'm going to see if I can get my yellow to come out on these little, I don't know what these are either, but we're giving them a little bit of yellow. Yeah, the Stampin' Blends would have worked too, but like I said, I just brought these over. So now this is it. I've got my piece punched out, and that's what I'm going to spotlight. So here's one thing that you could do. Here's one way, is you could put it down on your paper. I got a bigger punch now to layer that on. So we can layer that, put that on there, and then you can layer it over the top. Kind of, you know, position it around there and give it a spotlight that way. You could pop it up through the on dimensionals right here. Let me put one on the back and show you. And it's all spotlighting of this. I'm going to line up your pattern. We glue this down and we'd leave this up. And so it's going to spotlight this area. You could also do like I'm going to do, and I'm going to glue this other extra one down that I have to my paper. I don't know why sometimes if I go this direction I can seem to line up a little better. I don't know why. Going upside down does anything different for me, but so I glued that down, and then you could just, again, lay it. Let me peel that dimensional off now. You could also do that. You could just lay it back down where you needed it. Line it up. But if you're going to do that, you may as well just color a little tiny bit on there. So I'm going to go with, I thought I wanted to put it on this circle, but I think this circle's too big and it's covering up too much. So what I'm going to do is take my Calypso Coral marker, because that's what color my paper is, and I'm going to go around the edge of my circle with the edge of the marker, like so, and give it the illusion that there's another layer of paper underneath. You could also take your sponge and sponge the edges of it, but I think I might get too heavy-handed on that. I'm going to wind up maybe being too heavy-handed with this, or I'll slip, but I'm trying to lean it over the top of the edge a little bit onto the paper, and as you can see, it's starting to kind of fill that in. So I'm going to stop, and now that will give it the illusion that it has another layer underneath. So now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. stick it down and call it done. Boy, these little ones are coming off really hard. But I do love that we have these little dimensionals. We also have them in black. So if you do a lot of darker cards, we have them in black so you can't really see them when the card gets tipped. But I like the tiny ones a lot because you don't see them. Or you don't need as many. Oops, I didn't put that. You're forever trimming them, but must be I got it on the wrong one. I don't know, but that's it, you guys. I could put some words on here. If you have vertical words, you could put them on there. I think actually another sentiment or another circle with a sentiment in the middle might be appropriate. I might do that. But that's spotlighting right there. You've spotlighted just a portion of a larger image and made it stand out. That's it. I appreciate you watching. Have a great weekend. So how was that, guys? I think that it's a great way to use. You can use designer series paper. We got some great paper right now that can be colored, the black and white. It's in the front of the mini, the January through June mini, and it's by the Valentine stuff, and it's black and white, and it can be colored. This would be great for that. You can just color a piece of it, pop it up, and spotlight right down on that. So I think it's a great way. Pull out those stamps that have a lot of busyness to them that you don't really want to fuss around with, and get to spotlighting them. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back again next week for another version of Finally Friday. Thanks for watching, everybody.